Hello students, welcome to the 12th online lecture for the subject of sociology. In the previous lecture we completed second chapter of our textbook, that was Segments of Indian Society. Today we will start with the third chapter of our textbook, that is Diversity and Unity in Indian Society. The first topic in this chapter that we will study is diversity in Indian society. India is a land of unity in diversity. The sources of diversity in India may be traced through a variety of ways, the most obvious being the ethnic origins, religions, caste, tribes, languages, social customs, cultural and subcultural beliefs, political philosophies and ideologies, geographical variations, etc. Despite this, one feature that is most often noticed about India is its unity in diversity. Unity implies oneness or a sense of we feeling. It holds tightly together various relationships and belief systems of diverse ethnic communities or institutions into some form of acceptable unity through bonds of artificial structures, norms, and values. The phrase unity in diversity refers to the state of togetherness or oneness in spite of immense diversity. Unity in diversity is based on the concept where the individual or social differences in physical attributes, caste, gender, creed, cultural and religious practices, etc., are not looked upon as conflicting. Indian society is a land of various types of diversities. The dictionary defines diversity as variety or different. We will discuss in this part about the most powerful sources of diversity in Indian society. That is, number 1, racial diversity. Number 2, religious diversity. Number 3, linguistic diversity. Number 4, regional diversity. Number 5, caste diversity. Number 6, class diversity. Number 7, gender diversity. Racial diversity. A simplistic definition of race could be that it is a group of people with a set of distinctive physical features. According to A.W. Green, a race is a large biological human grouping with a number of distinctive inherited characteristics which vary within a certain range. Racial classifications are made on the basis of certain genetic traits which are referred to as racial criteria. It is a difficult task to construct a systematic ethnography of millions of Indian people. However, several anthropologists like J.H. Hutton, D.N. Majumdar, and B.S. Guha have given racial classifications of Indian people. B.S. Guha classifies the population of India into six main racial groups, that is, number 1, Negrito, number 2, Proto-Australoid, number 3, Mongoloid, number 4, Mediterranean or Dravidian, number 5, Western Brachycephal, number 6, Nordic. Scholars have observed that there are no pure racial types across the world, rather there are mixed types of the standard racial groups. Migrations across time and space have ensured that there occurred a lot of mixture of these races, which has resulted in enormous racial heterogeneity among the people of India. Even though there are racial classifications of human beings, at present the basis for identifying differences is no longer limited to external physical features. The use of scientific technology has enabled the study of physical qualities through genetic studies and DNA testing, which have greater validity and reliability. Religious diversity. The institution of religion is universal. It is found in all societies, past and present. Religion is one of the key evidences of diversity in Indian society. Although India is a multi-religious and multicultural country, the secular order informed by the Constitution of India ensures that the secular fabric of the society is maintained. It is a land where tribal beliefs of animism and naturism and religions like Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism have originated and flourished. Later, there has been the influence of Christianity, Islam, Zoroastrianism, and Sikhism. The basic idea and faith of each religion may differ, but they continue to coexist in the Indian society. The right to freedom of religion is also declared as the fundamental right by the Indian Constitution. Indian religions have applied significant influence all over the world. We cannot assume that all members of a faith are unanimous with regards to their belief and practices. Religion tends to bring together people of the faith to celebrate commonly cherished festivals and events. These festivities have brought together people of differing faith to celebrate festivals like Ganpati, Diwali, Ramzan, Eid, Christmas, and so on. Also, the Government of India, through its declaration of public holidays for various religious festivals, enable people of various faiths to mark the occasion. For example, Good Friday, Ram Navami, Eid ul Fitr, etc. For example, in Kolkata, the Festival of Lights, Diwali, is celebrated along with the Jewish Festival of Lights, that is Hanukkah. Linguistic diversity. India is a land of many languages, and multilingualism is a way of life in India. In 1956, Indian states were organized on a linguistic basis. Hence, people of a particular state speak a particular language. The Constitution of India has approved of 22 official languages. Among these official languages, 3 languages have been recognized as classical languages, that is Sanskrit, Tamil, and Kannada. All 3 have been given a special status and recognition by the Government of India. These classical languages have a written and oral history of over 1,000 years. The language policy of India guarantees protection to linguistic minorities. A unique feature of India is the concept of protecting the interest of children to get basic education in their mother tongues, that is, home language. 21st February 2017 was declared as an International Mother Language Day by the United Nations. Long before this, the founders of the Constitution of India had already given top priority to teaching in the mother tongue, thus enabling the child to develop to its full potential. The language policy of India is multicultural and it gives priority to the use of mother tongue in administration, education, and other fields of mass communication. To implement and monitor this policy, the government has set up the Language Bureau under the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Today, linguistic diversity needs to be preserved. Speakers of diverse languages are becoming rare, and the major languages are being adopted after abandoning the mother tongue. Regional diversity. Region can be understood by the degree of cultural homogeneity. Region refers to the territorial entities found within the country. For example, one might talk of the northeastern region, which comprises the Seven Sisters. However, even within a state, there are regions. For example, in Maharashtra state, the regions include Konkan, Vidarbha, Khandesh, Marathwada, and Western Maharashtra. Each region has a rich and unique diversity of its own. Its natural environment, rivers, water sources, soil, forest, minerals, and its socio-economic and political environment. People within a region are diverse with regard to their race, ethnicity, language, dialect, food, customs, mannerisms, beliefs and practices, control mechanisms such as laws, mores, etc. Every region has its own and unique history which has shaped its present. For example, in Maharashtra, the role and significance of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is well established. Caste diversity. Caste is a major source of diversity in Indian society. The British used the term caste to define various ethnic groups of India. Sociologists today define caste through two axes, that is Varna and Jati. Varna is the overarching ideology division of Hindus into the fourfold hierarchy of Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. It is believed that there are about 3,500 jatis found in India, out of which 751 are classified under the scheduled caste communities. The caste system provided the basis of social structure. The different castes functioned in an interdependent barter relationship, which was the basis of the agrarian economy. It was also a source of inequality and marginalization of some communities. It maintains exchange of goods and services between various jatis. It was based on a patron-client relationship. The patron is known as Jajman, who used to be a landlord. The client is known as Kamin, from the artisan or service caste. The Kamin used to provide services to the Jajman and in return was given rewards in terms of food grain, clothes and many other considerations like free residential plot, free food, aid in litigation, use of animal and instruments, etc. However, the Jajmani system is gradually fading away with the advent of market and monetary economy. The practice of caste system is not confined to Hindus. Caste like divisions are seen among Muslims, Christians, and Sikhs as well. We have heard of the hierarchy of Amir, Sheikh, Sayyid, Pathan among the Muslims. There are castes like Teli, oil pressure, Dhobi, washerman, Darji, tailor, etc. among the Muslims. Similarly, caste consciousness among the Christians in India is not unknown. Since a vast majority of Christians in India were converted from the Hindu fold, some converts have carried their caste system into their Christian identity. Under the Constitutional Order of 1950, which was amended in 1990, the term scheduled caste can only be used by Hindu, Sikh, and Buddhist people who are listed on the schedule, whereas scheduled tribe persons may have any religious identity. Class diversity. Diversity is also based on class. Class is typically based on number 1, financial position, that is economic criteria. Number 2, education. Our sense of economic class influences the way we think, the choices we make, the prejudices, hopes, and aspirations. A consciousness about one's economic class identity is a lived reality. For example, one makes a choice whether to use public transport or one's own vehicle to go to work. One decides whether to buy grains from a store in our neighborhood or at a mall, where to study or how to get married, and so on. Upper class constitute a small minority in the Indian society as a whole. A large number of people belong to the middle or lower economic strata of the Indian society. Gender diversity. In order to understand gender diversity, it is necessary to appreciate the difference between sex and gender. Gender diversity is linked to the notion of gender, a social construct, which in turn is related to concepts such as gender binary, gender expression, sexuality, and sexual orientation. Gender includes diversity that go beyond gender binaries of female, male, feminine, masculine, her, his, etc. Today, our understanding of gender diversity also includes the sexual orientation of people. In this context, you may be familiar with the acronym LGBT. What constitutes appropriate behavior for girls, women, and boys, men, is a result of social conditioning, training, and cultural definitions. Hence, there is unevenness between societies as well as within groups in a specific society. This leads us to understand the dominance of heteronormativity, that is, the norms that reinforces and normalizes the gender binary in society and in all its institutions such as family, marriage, polity, economy, religion, etc. There are individuals, groups, and societies which have challenged the notion of a binary and thus are more inclusive of sexual and gender pluralities. When discussing gender diversity, we need to be aware of a related term which also leads to diversity, Gender expression. This is inseparably linked to gender socialization. Most of us are forced into conformity to follow the expectations of gender linked to one's sex. Today, however, societies are gradually opening up to understanding and accepting gender fluidity, that is, those persons who do not limit themselves within the binary. Gender fluidity is not a Western import but has been a part of our traditional Indian culture. There are references to Hindu deities who were gender fluid. You will recall about decriminalization of homosexuality by a historic judgment of the Supreme Court of India on 6 September 2018. The Government of India has also recognized transgender people and their rights. Awareness about and sensitivity to diversities based on gender will help, number one, dismiss ignorance and myths related to gender. Number two, restore dignity to people with different gender identities. Number three, eradicate hate, violence, prejudice, and discrimination towards gender non-conforming individuals. Number four, promote equality and justice as preserved in the Indian Constitution. With this, we come to the end of the lecture. So today we studied about the diversities of Indian society. In the next lecture, we'll start with a new topic, that is, we will study about the unity in diversity. Thank you.